Good evening. How is everybody doing today? We are, or I am, I should say, on day 3 of the Facebook Live Challenge. And I have to say, again today, I was kind of stumped at what to talk about. I don't know why I'm stumped at things to talk about, since there's plenty of things going on in my daily life that could be helpful for somebody. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my day and how perfectionism creeped up and ruined part of my day. I don't know if anybody has ever had that happen before, but I tend to sometimes get stuck in perfectionism and then really kind of have a hard time getting out of it. I don't know why I have this funky, there we go, line at the bottom here. Okay, so I'm going to share this while I'm talking to you guys about it. So this is kind of what was going on today. Tomorrow's Father's Day, I'm sure all of you know. But my father-in-law was going to be out of town, so we decided that we were going to invite my dad and then my father-in-law over today. Just going to go do some fun things around town, do some mini golf, and some go-karts, and then come back to our place for supper. So I just felt a little unprepared in general. I have seems like it's been pretty much all school year where I've been feeling a little bit just like I'm just getting everything done as it needs to, which normally I am way more on top of things and much more organized, and it can, have things more ready to go, at least planned out. So I didn't feel like I was very prepared, and I think that's kind of what set me up this morning for being stressed out. But okay, so we had company coming, and we were just trying to get things done around the house. I had to run to the store, and then I was going to be making a dessert. I went to the store. I didn't get everything I was going to need for dessert. Then, sorry, my eyes itchy. I just started getting grumpy because when I got back, I just kept telling myself I have all these things to do. Tons of things need to be done. And if I would have actually just stopped, though, and checked the list and prioritized everything, there really wasn't that much stuff, which is really interesting because that shows me that it really is just a thought that's causing me to feel stressed. So I made cookies, but I didn't have shortening, and I used butter. And when I pulled the cookies out of the oven, they were completely just like melted, one big mass cookie on the bottom of the cookie sheet. And I was like, that was the last straw. And I was just almost ready to lose it. And I was thinking that all these things needed to happen, all these things needed to get done in order for everybody to have a good time. Well, thinking that made me feel pretty pressured and stressed out, and then which caused me to be, stressed, irritable, grumpy, short, and just really focusing on all of the things that weren't going right and how little time I had to get things done. Now, I used to be a really big perfectionist, and I have been working on it a lot, and I have come a long way. And today, the old me really creeped up. And so I got to take a good look at what was going on. So I was feeling stressed out and pressured to get all these things done. And what that caused me to just be really irritable and miserable to be around. Miserable. I didn't want to be around me. I'm sure my family didn't want to either. But my intentions were good. So a lot of times when we have good intentions, it's hard to notice that those good intentions or those like good sounding thoughts are causing us pain or stress or irritability. So the results I was getting from my actions is that I wasn't having a good time. And I was banking my day on all these things getting done at a certain time. So I finally just decided I definitely needed to just take a pause, take a minute, and figure out what was going on for me. So I went outside just to cut the grass. I could put in my headphones. I could just kind of be by myself. And I realized that I have this story that that this is the way that I can show love, and that it all has to be perfect or it won't be received in the way that I want it. Now, I have no control over how it's received. All I can do is put my love and intention out there. And I just felt a lot better after I went out there, and I knew I was just doing this to myself. I know intellectually that everything does not need to be perfect, but sometimes it just feels very true that it does need to be, perfect. Now, being perfect sounds good, sounds like what we really want, and that is most of the time the standards we hold ourselves to. But expecting perfection really doesn't serve us at all. It doesn't serve me at all. My guess is it doesn't serve you at all either. And frankly, being perfect, or if everything was perfect, it would be so boring. Now, the things that I remember, or the things that my husband and I reflect back on in all of our years together and everything we've been through, are those moments that were anything but perfect. In fact, usually the worst times are the things we look back at and we laugh about and we remember, and it brings us closer. And I forget that in the moment when things aren't going perfect. And it's like the only person here today that cared about my cookies being flat was me, but they were ridiculous. They were ridiculous. But it went fine. In fact, the other thing I forget to remember is it is not about the meal. It's not about the activities. It's the people that you're spending time with and being present with them and really enjoying their company. And that's exactly what we did. And that was great. Everything was perfect, even though the day was perfect, even though everything didn't turn out perfectly, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that it's okay that we're not perfect. It's okay if we are trying for perfection. But one of my other challenges, not just this 100 days of Facebook Lives, is loving myself unconditionally. And I definitely didn't feel like I was doing that in the moment when I was getting really, really stressed out. But by me taking myself out of the situation, even though I still felt really grumpy when I did go out to cut the grass, I realize now that I was really listening to myself, and that was me taking responsibility, because I definitely went out there with the intention of having some time to kind of work through it in my head and see what was going on for me. So tomorrow is Father's Day, and you might be having people coming over. Maybe you're not as prepared as you would like. Maybe you're super prepared, but no matter how much preparation you have, most likely something isn't going to go right. And I want to encourage you to just love yourself through it. Realize that it could just be one of those memories that you end up loving later on, and the people that you are going to be with. That's the most important thing. And you can give them your attention, you can give them your love, you can give them your happiness, and just decide what kind of energy you want in your home and in your life. So for me, that pressured, stressed, negative energy, I want to have as little of that as possible. So today was just a little reminder of what could happen, and I'm walking away with a little bit of tips for myself, just things to recognize, mostly to catch it earlier next time. And so I learned that if I do take a minute, take a pause, take a time out, whatever you want to call it, that really does serve me, and it gives me time to stop, to really evaluate it, and to take responsibility for my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions, because it really had nothing to do with my family, even though I felt like if they were helping me more or doing exactly what I wanted them to do, then I wouldn't be upset. But it was really me, just putting a lot of pressure on myself to be perfect, and that never works out in my favor. So I will be back tomorrow. But I hope you all have an amazing weekend, and I hope you all have a great time with your dads. And if this is going to be a Father's Day that is hard for you this year, I'm going to be sending out lots of love and lots of imaginary hugs to all of you, because I know sometimes it can be a difficult day. So I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.